Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Hek'ma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
Players Lounge here on a Thursday going into a Sunday game. Short week for the Cowboys. They're going to take on the Washington Commanders up at FedEx Field. Come on to the Players Lounge with Hek'ma Harrison, former Cowboy safety Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. This show is brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming.
Yes, sir.
Get it on for a Thursday.
Yes, sir.
It's a good Thursday. Beautiful weather, too.
Here at the Star, Cowboys are outside practicing, getting ready for the game up there.
Commanders.
Good luck to all the Cowboy fans rolling on up there to FedEx Field. Seats won't be as easy to get this time, you know.
Ain't that something? They back in love with their team again.
Right.
What was the? It's not a pig, but what their mascot? What is his name again?
Tuddy. Commander Sergeant Tuddy.
Sergeant Tuddy.
Major Tuddy.
Major Tuddy.
Major Tuddy. Hey, Major
Is
Tuddy.
that's still a thing? That's still a thing, right?
I think so, right? I think.
I don't know what new management.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Major
okay.
Tuddy. I don't know.
Major Tuddy out here, man.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, out here now. T-shirts and all.
Major Tuddy. So Major Tuddy is a pig, and that's a take off the old Hogs, the offensive line. You were young.
Yeah.
You I don't know if you was born.
I wasn't even born at that point.
The offensive line with the Hogs, it was Jeff Bostic, the center. You had Joe Jacoby at right tackle. Russ Grimm was guard there. George Stark was on the line.
Was Riggs running back then?
Yes, he was. The Super Bowl 17.
NFL films.
Yes. Chip right, 70 chip.
You ain't right.
NFL films, man.
Hey.
But I want to get my history right, man. Let me hit the NFL films.
I remember watching that. I remember watching that game. David Woodley was the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins that day. Game was at the Rose Bowl, and Miami was leading. And then in the second half, they come back. It's a fourth down play. They ran 70 chip, gave a ball to John Riggins, and the whole thing was that, hey, if they run the play right, Riggo should be left one-on-one with a defensive back. And Joe Bugle at the time, the offensive line coach, on NFL film said, look, if there's a defensive back against John Riggins, nobody defensive back in the league should be able to handle him. Sure enough, D-back came up there, stiff arm, boom, Riggo goes right down the end and runs it in. And the next thing you know, they go win the Super Bowl.
Did they always used to have, daytime Super Bowls back then? I feel like every time I watch NFL films, it's like it was during the day, the entire day. Like the game was over by like 5 or something like that.
Well, this game was at the Rose Bowl, so those are going to start later.
California, yeah.
So they're going to start around
that's
5, and then the dust comes down, settles over the San Gabriel Mountains, and so that game ended at night. But yeah, you had a lot. Like the Raiders Super Bowl in Super Bowl 11, which is the Rose Bowl, that was during the day, but that was a different NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the NFL that was way behind baseball and boxing. It was trying to make its way up to the climb. It's not the NFL today where you are running the whole day around whatever it is you want to do.
That's nuts.
It's different, man. It's different. It's different times. But that was the first of Joe Gibbs' 3 Super Bowls in Washington, and with 3 different quarterbacks. But yes, the Hogs were something. Believe it or not, Hek'ma, you don't remember this, Church. Are you surprised that they don't have anybody in the Hall of Fame off that offensive line?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about the running game that they had with Riggo back then and how big the Hogs were during the 80s. To consider that Gibbs and those championship runs, that's kind of weird. Yeah.
The Fun Bunch. Remember the Fun Bunch?
Yeah.
That's the ones that did the high five joint?
Yeah.
Okay, NFL films, baby.
Yeah.
NFL films.
Thank God for NFL films. That's my boy.
So I remember that time when
bunch, baby.
they did it at Texas Stadium in the end zone. It was Everson Walls, Dennis Thumb. We're not doing that.
Nah.
We're not doing that in here, boys. That is the beauty of what that used to be when they were both good.
What's your top 3 nicknames for a group? Like you had the Fun Bunch, was the Hogs,
The Steel Curtain.
I was going to say
Saxonville got to be up there. The Jackson 5,
Purple
People
got the Purple People Eaters, the Fearsome Foursome.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
LA's Fearsome Foursome. Yeah. What were the Bears? Monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, Monsters of the Midway.
You had Doomsday around here. Doomsday
Legion
1 and 2.
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom.
That's a good one.
I'm sorry.
I love it when everything starts with you, like with Kobe.
More modern. Just a little, just a tad.
Saxonville
Saxonville ain't a top. Saxonville ain't a top. top 5. That's fire.
Okay, let me help.
The Jackson 5. Come on, man.
First off, let me help you out.
Go ahead. What you got?
The names we have, these are people who have these things called rings.
That's
so
right.
First thing you want to you need to get you a ring up in here to get you a name.
No, man.
What you mean?
I don't know. Man.
What greatest show on turf? Okay,
I mean,
what a ring. You gotta. How you have a name and all? We went to the AFC Championship.
Hey, man, it was a great defense.
One
man.
time.
It was a great
defense, man.
1 year.
Thank you,
That 1 year.
I'll help you out here.
Man, it's a great defense.
Come on, man. No name defense. I mean, they won 2 Super Bowls.
Man,
I mean,
With no name.
right? Saxonville.
We just saying nicknames.
Did you? Okay, so
Fine
all
nickname.
right. So disrespect, but did you all set the sack record?
Yeah, before what's the name blew it out. I think the Eagles destroyed it because we had I think it was 55 or 56. Yeah.
But no ring.
No ring. That's facts. That is.
I mean,
facts.
so you gotta. You want a nickname, and then
They don't do you like that.
your team's still young, but you also need some Hall of Famers on there. You know, the Fearsome Foursome had Hall of Famers. Purple People Eaters didn't win a ring, but they went to 4 Super Bowls. They had some Hall of Fame. I mean, you gotta.
Wait a second.
What you bringing
so
on?
the Purple People Eaters ain't had no ring?
No, it's 4 Super Bowls.
So you got to have a Hall of Famer or
It's rings.
rings. All right. I mean, Calais might get in there. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. He might get up. Hey, the way they letting people in the hall these days. Come on now.
No, we should say the way they're keeping people out of the hall these days.
They put Joe Klecko in the Hall of Fame, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even know who that is.
Thank you. Okay, Joe Klecko. I'm just like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? I mean, that New York bias is hard. Now, I know people complain about the Dallas bias, but man, the New York bias is bad. And I always tell people, if you have the Dallas bias, you think you're still talking about Cowboys who've won rings.
That's facts.
And Cowboys who are part of a dominant, usually team of the 70s or guys that we're talking about putting in here, or teams in the 90s. We're not talking about some busters off the street. I mean, Joe Klecko, they didn't win no Super Bowl.
Buster.
I'm sorry, man. You know what? And this is the time where I was.
Get you a sip of your drink, man. Your sugar. See what I'm saying? When he come in here, he ain't had nothing. He hangry right now. Hand him a Snickers.
We didn't have Snickers and everything else. But okay, see, I would love to have coffee with your Uncle Joe Green, and I'd be, hey, Joe Klecko in your day? No. He wasn't the best player on their own defense. Mark Gastineau was the best player on the Jet defense, and Jets ain't win nothing. But I think the most the Jets did might have gone to an AFC Championship game. I think you got beat by maybe Miami. But I mean, we're not talking about no great. I mean, the Hall of Fame, man. We supposed about dudes that, hey, I mentioned your name, like, boom. I mean, like, yeah, that guy.
So you ain't a fan like if Eli get in on his.
Why don't see? That's
We not put 500 quarterbacks in.
You
there.
messes.
I'm just
Go put
saying.
500 quarterbacks.
You're gonna go
500 quarterbacks.
You gonna make him wait a couple?
500 records.
Do you not think he's getting in though?
Look,
Yes or no?
Yeah,
Do you
gonna
know?
get in.
Do you think he's not getting in?
I think that once again, the New York push. Gary Myers, who used to work down here, Gary Myers is very big. He was very instrumental in getting Joe Klecko in. And now one of the things they talk about in the Hall of Fame in Canton is there's these, I'm going to say like a political drive for guys where they're out there trying to push these people. And they're trying to get other players to talk them up. Like, they went out there and got people like Anthony Munoz, great offensive tackles today, talk about how tough it was to block Joe Klecko. No, but this is what they're doing now. So Rodney Harrison. Love Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison, fantastic safety. They go get a guy like Bill Belichick to help him out. When Everson Walls was up there, they went to Belichick and they went to Parcells. Hey, what can you tell us about Everson Walls? So there's campaigns now to try to get guys in. And depending on who's your presenter, okay, so if Hek'ma's in the Hall of Fame, there's going to be somebody in the Dallas market who presents Hek'ma. And they sit up here and they say, hey, this, that. Some of the people who are presenters now, they are doing blitzes all year long. They're offering up Zoom calls with the player and former coaches. They are really trying to sell this thing.
Peyton gonna hype up Eli.
And then when you have certain presenters who will go into, I'll call it the sympathy card. Sam Mills, God rest Sam Mills' soul, field mouse. Sam Mills was on the final ballot, and one of the pushes was, hey, man, look, if you don't vote Sam Mills in now on this modern ballot, he gets kicked. Yeah. He gets kicked over to the seniors committee. Then you never know. Because taking one senior year versus taking 5 modern day guys. And so here is basically what it came down to: DeMarcus Ware versus Sam Mills. And one of the voters that I know very well said he leaned more towards a player in the final year of eligibility, knowing that the other player, D. Ware, still has multiple shots at getting in.
So Sam never got to that senior where he won't get
No, because they put Sam in.
Okay.
It was the LA Super Bowl. Sam Mills got in. D. Ware did not. He got in the next year. And so it was, if you just said, who had a better career? We got him on the ballot. We got Sam Mills on the ballot. We got D. Ware on the ballot. Who's better career? DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware, Super Bowl champion, sack, all. But that was the politics that gets played. So when you talk about Eli Manning, there's a push from the New York people say, well, you know what? Eli won 2 Super Bowls against Bill Belichick and prevented Belichick's team from an undefeated season. Now,
won those playoff games.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was
He had
there
some runs.
Yeah, he had some runs.
2. Pew, pew.
Not the red thistle.
Hey, Jim Plunkett had 2 runs with Raiders.
He did.
Both 15s.
Yes, he
Jim
did.
Plunkett had 2 runs too.
Yes, he did.
Okay. You know, I mean, Joe Flacco had a run.
He did.
You know, Cats had some runs now. That's all you need. We sit behind some runs. Eli was a 500 quarterback, man.
He was. He led the league in picks. I think that was the only thing he led the league in.
He's never made all pro.
No.
Never won MVP.
No.
And what do we do? No, Ken Anderson, who you too young to remember, Ken Anderson won an MVP, led Cincinnati to the Super Bowl, lost to the 49ers. But you talk about looking at a dude who went out there and balled and played and was in Cincinnati too. Yeah. That guy has a resume for the Hall of Fame, but he's not getting in. But because he played for the Giants, Eli, nah, bruh. No, that's not Hall of Fame. That's Hall of Very Good.
So my thing with the senior thing. So if you don't make it in the ballot, your time is up. You go to this group of seniors, and only one per year. So I think why even pull from that that group of people? Why can't it just be like, hey man, you just didn't make it?
No, because what you like to do and you want to do, and they do this in baseball as well, is they want to say, you know what, man, we made a mistake. You were overlooked. For instance, Everson Walls has the resume to be one, but he wasn't on the ballot for years. And from my knowledge of talking to people, that the folks didn't, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the media didn't do enough to say, hey, put this guy on the ballot. No. He won a Super Bowl with the Giants at Parcells, and a guy like Gary Myers, who covered the Cowboys and Everson Walls and also covered the Giants, it was like they didn't put him up. The Dallas folks put him up because he spent most of his time here. He had one ballot at the end, and unlike Sam Mills, nobody said, hey, man, this is Everson's last shot, man. We need to go ahead and take care of it. He didn't get in. But you look at the numbers of people who are in the Hall. It's really shameful that he's not even in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor for how great of a player he is.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's tough. But,
it is wild.
But you damn near need a champion now.
Yeah. Dang.
How do you feel about the media ultimately, or reporters and guys like that, being the final say if guys make it to the Hall, instead of it actually coming from a pool of players or a pool of Hall of Famers or guys that played with those guys during those times? Because even when you talk about the senior members, that game, maybe some of the guys that even played with them that could even vouch for them are no longer, I don't want to say around, but they're just not there to even back them up to the way that you would back up a D. Ware.
They have some players now. They do have, the committee does have some players on there. And some coach, so that is changed. They've widened it, but it's still the majority of the media. Look, going to the baseball, okay, different sport, but guys will tell you the seniors on baseball, they the hardest ones on the players. Much more tougher than the media. There were a bunch of them like, that dude didn't do enough here. I mean, they are hard. So
different mentality. Different sport.
Little supernal beast on here. He wasn't all that. I mean, baseball dudes are the hardest guys around, man.
Is Rose never? He ain't never gonna be able to get in.
Dude,
that's hold up. No, don't go. Yeah. Don't go.
That's a whole different.
No.
But is it just because of the betting, or his numbers won't even?
Because of the betting.
Dude, yeah, but there's no. It's the cardinal sin of baseball. Back in 1919, they almost shut the sport down because they were cheating. It was a scandal. Okay,
So his numbers were cheating.
No. I'm just telling you what they did. The sport, okay? They rigged the World Series. It got rigged, okay? They shut the sport down. So they instituted a thing that basically said there's no betting on baseball. It's in every locker room, everywhere you go. Rule number 1: don't gamble on this game.
Yeah.
You gamble on this game, you get put out for life. Pete Rose did it. Gone for life. Put him in the Hall of Fame? No. They said you broke the rule. Now, certain people say, well, man, what he did as a player. Don't matter. You are a manager. And if anything, to me, as a manager, that made it even more damning.
So he was betting when he was a manager, not a player.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, to our knowledge, yes. That's what he's admitted to, and that is what the facts showed. But as a manager, okay, so Barry, you're my reliever, all right? So I pitched you 3 days in a row. You probably need a 4th day off. But damn it, I just bet this game. Barry, I need you to go. Oh, my arm tired. I need you to go. You could get hurt.
Yeah.
Some people, oh man, he always bet his team to win. And
So you
can't mess with the integrity of the game like that.
So
You
what
can't
about
do that.
steroids?
That becomes actually, I heard that was what kept Rodney Harrison out because Rodney admitted he did it.
Damn.
So that kept him out. But
Damn. I ain't know that.
so we'll see. But at the end of the day, this is a sport that forever and a day, everybody is like they look the other way. In baseball, they still use it against people. In the NFL, we'll see. But there's a lot of dudes juiced up in the league.
But I think the Barry Bonds cases that what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as
like-
steroids.
Oh,
is
the
concerned.
Bonds?
The McGuire's. Is McGuire in?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Sosa, is he in?
No.
No.
None of the Roy guys got in.
No, that's tough.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're talking about a guy that was doing it before all the scandal. So
And Barry to
Hall
my
of Fame
knowledge, did he
career
ever
before
get-
Hall of Fame career before the whole steroid thing.
7 MVPs before he started getting on the juice.
Before that,
You talking about Barry?
yeah.
So here's a,
Yeah,
I didn't know he was
before
cold
that.
like that.
He was cold. No,
Oh,
dude.
what? Bonds Bonilla? You in Pittsburgh? Well, you were a baby. You wouldn't
Yeah, I don't even.
yeah.
What years did he play in
the
Pittsburgh?
90s, in the 90s. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
I was.
Barry-
I wasn't worried about it.
when
I was
you
in the
talk
sandbox.
when you talk about if you ever did who your starting 9, Barry Bonds is in that conversation. You know, your starting 9 best players in baseball history. He's in the conversation.
Like all around, he was just a great hitter. But all around,
Dude
he was
could
just
do
unreal.
5-tool play. He could do it. He could throw. He could hit. He could run. The dude was a monster, man. He was a monster. And I'll say this: you can talk about the steroids all day long, and people do because they definitely have the ball go further. But you still got to hit it.
But you still gotta have that hand eye.
Hell yeah.
You watching that dude take Greg Maddux out. There's a video. Go look it up on social media. It's fantastic. It's Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds talking about an at-bat. Greg Maddux is one of the best pitchers we've ever seen. And the chess match between them, and Bonds beats it. And he's like, yeah, you can't come into the wheelhouse two times. And just he's a tremendous hitter. And just a fantastic player. But the Hall of Fame right now, and Darren Woodson of the Cowboys is up one more time.
This is his last go.
No, it's not the last go. But, Woody's up against Rodney Harris. It's very hard to get safeties in. There's more offensive players than defensive players, and defensive backs have tougher times to get in. So it's going to be a challenge to see where it goes. I mean, when they start asking, like, so Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells have heavy sway with these numbers. Heavy sway. Belichick is definitely down for Rodney Harris, but then this is where you kind of come back and you hope a Jimmy Johnson and a Troy Aikman and people like that.
Emmett,
I wish you take 2 safeties, but when you get into the room like that, they're like, oh, we'll just take one here, we'll take one there. Adam Vinatieri's up.
That's a hell of a kicker, man. Clutch kicker.
You when you talk about greatest kickers of all time, if you ain't calling his name, it ain't gonna take long till you get to it. Clutch kicks, Super Bowls, and everything. Won 2 Super Bowls with different teams. I mean, so where do you go? But he's a first timer. Do you make him a first ballot guy? Do you make him wait? Because some people view. I hear that word first ballot a lot, and I just don't believe that's the case for a lot of players.
How many get in? What, 5 a time? 5 a go usually?
Yeah, 5 modern.
But Darren Woodson not being in it's been upsetting for the organization. People that don't remember Darren Woodson, it's not enough to say how good he was coming out of college, a linebacker converted to safety. I mean, the way that he fit into an already good defense, he was the piece. Like, he was that one guy that you could put down in the box and you knew exactly what Darren Woodson was going to do.
Nickel. He started the nickel.
That's what I'm saying. Like, his ability, like, stretch the fit, leverage, all the things that he played with Barry. Like, come on. And it gets to the point, it's like, what else did he need to do? What else did he need to add to his career that would have made it any better? You've seen guys when Steve Atwater got in. To me, I was like, Woody. That's a wrap. Yeah. Because you were thinking like either 1A, 1B, one of those guys would have to go first. But when Atwater went in, it was almost like guaranteed we would see Darren Woodson go in.
So I'm glad you mentioned it. And this is the other part of the game behind the game. Steve Atwater went in, and there's always been a contingent, and I know some of the guys from Denver who feel like they've never been able to get the proper representation for their franchise. And Steve was on the 2 Super Bowl teams. Great player at his time. Heck of a safety, man. He was a really good player. And it was kind of like, hey, man, we need to start getting our guys in. Randy Gradishar got in last year. Too young to remember. Heck, you remember, Randy Gradishar was a part of that Orange Crush defense. We played the first Super Bowl 12 that the Cowboys beat. Very good player. And they had been trying to get Randy in for years, and they felt there was a bias. Folks in Minnesota will tell you, man, there's a bias that we're not getting people in. And now those folks, and this is where Woody gets hurt, they feel like there has been an overload of Cowboys getting in. Like, these guys are always getting in. Yeah. And he is going to start to pay the price for some of that. Because they're how many Cowboys keep getting in? You're putting in a DeMarcus Ware. You're putting in a Drew Pearson. You put in a Cliff Harris. I mean, you start to look at the last 10 years of Cowboys that got in. People have issues, and that stuff gets used against you. Believe me, they start horse trading these votes.
But guys, those guys that you just mentioned, Harris and Pearson, they had to wait.
Yeah, a minute.
They had to wait, and these were guys. We're talking about Darren Woodson. Man, these are guys that had to wait. That were really, really good. That had to wait until the 2000s to get in.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay. For Drew Pearson to be first team all 1970s and wait like that. Then when they had the expanded list and they're going to throw Harold Carmichael in before him and Harold Carmichael was second team, that's wild. But they made it right. But I'm just telling you, in that room, there's that kind of stuff there. And then you start looking at some of the names. Like Antonio Gates is on this list. Antonio Gates,
he was a guy.
That's a Hall of Fame player.
That's the first ballot. I saw him in that first ballot for sure.
So he wasn't first ballot, but then,
he ain't that. Wow.
No, so right there, so we talk about 5. That's now 4, right?
Yeah,
you think he's 1?
You got to throw him in there for sure.
I mean, it's a heck of a list. It always is. Hines Ward's a Super Bowl MVP. Does Hines Ward get it?
I don't know.
James Harrison, former NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Basically, man, if you're NFL Defensive of the Year, they darn near put you in there. It's kind of like being an NBA MVP. You're going to get in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's true.
James was a 2-time Super Bowl champion, defensive player. I mean, hard to keep people like that out.
Yeah, Hines Ward was different. Hines Ward was different. I don't know. A career like that is hard to speak on the guy, man. That's all I'm talking about is Woody. And that's it.
And when we're talking about Woody, it's that thing of you're also bringing in these other people as well. Because first off, the list, it's an impressive list of guys. I mean, you got some guys, man. You got some serious, nice, beautiful careers.
These finalists right now, or
yes,
James Harris.
So you got Eric Allen, Jared. You know what? Let's get our first break in. Get our first break in here. Come back. I'll give you some of the names. Some of them you know very well, and you think you played with a couple of these guys too. So just give me kind of your first thoughts. I want you to give me your first reaction. Yes, no. Yes, no. Barry is a former player. Do that with Hek'ma Harrison, Barry Church, and Newy. This is Players Lounge, brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming on DallasCowboys.com.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/cowboys to get started.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys! Back to the Players Lounge.
Cowboy Nation, it's time to get the giving season going. Tune in to see country music star Lainey Wilson and special guests perform during the Salvation Army's annual Red Kettle Kickoff halftime show this Thanksgiving on Fox. Every donation stays in the community in the community to provide help and hope for those in need. So tune in to watch the Cowboys, Giants, and Lainey Wilson this Thanksgiving and give today at the salvationarmy.org.
You know any Lainey Wilson songs at church? Anything in the
Doesn't come off the top of the noggin right now, but I mean, if I heard something,
youngsters, man? That's what
I might be able to say something, but
me and Hek'ma waiting on you to tell us.
Lainey Wilson?
Yeah. See, on the CMA Awards, some kind of country music award show.
Chris rattled them off real fast.
Yeah, he did come through. He did.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
new
one
hotness. She's a new hotness.
Okay, all right. Good luck to her.
She was female vocalist of the year last night.
Really?
Oh,
what happened to Carrie Underwood? She didn't get in? She went in?
Nah.
Only Carrie Underwood. I don't know.
What's wrong? What's wrong with Carrie?
Gretchen Wilson didn't win nothing?
Who?
I mean, Lainey Wilson's pretty good.
He said who? he
Trisha
he messing with you.
They were those two ladies, as good as they are, were not nominated.
The chicks weren't nominated? Y'all banned them.
They're a band.
You guys banned them for country.
They're a band.
Okay. All right. There you go. Got it. Just checking. Natalie Maines, she like a singer, though. She had a solo album or something. So, all right. Thank you, Chris Bean, for that country music moment. Brought to you by no one. Players Lounge, brought to you by Aristocrat Gaming, Barry Church, former Cowboy safety, Hek'ma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs. We are here with you. Cowboys taking on the Commanders Sunday, Joe Witt Jr. revenge game. As a DC, he's going to be dialing up. Trust me.
Oh, you going? Oh.
But back here, he comes.
Barrage.
Remember forever. Look like they played the Commanders.
Look out.
He's gonna go like that. Remember the Titans on him. All right, so we were talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Here are your semifinalists. All right, they're fighting for 5 spots. Okay, Eric Allen, former defensive back. Jared Allen, former defensive player. Willie Anderson, outstanding offensive tackle. Anquan Bolden, the receiver, who spent a lot of years with the Ravens and Cardinals. Jari Evans, Super Bowl winner with the Saints.
That's the O-lineman?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Antonio Gates, fantastic player with the Chargers and tight end. Rodney Harrison, former defensive player of the year, 2 Super Bowl wins with the Steelers. Rodney Harrison, 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots as a safety. Torrey Holt, Super Bowl champion with the greatest show on turf of the Rams. Luke Kuechly, former defensive player of the year. And fantastic linebacker with Carolina.
You doing? What do you thought? He played like 7 years?
Luke
He ended it quick.
Yeah.
Luke had a shorter career.
Was he D player of the year?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Robert Mathis, defensive end and Super Bowl champion with the Colts. Steve Smith Jr. played in a Super Bowl with Carolina. They ended up losing to Rodney Harrison's Patriots team. Terrell Suggs, Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion, T-Sizzle.
He was a D Player of the Year, right? Or no?
Don't know, but definitely one of the greatest sackers of all time.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor, outstanding running back out of Jacksonville that a lot of people think because he played in Jacksonville is not given his just due.
Freddie T was cold.
Yeah, he was.
We talk about safeties. You want to talk about a safety who's really got some amazing credentials. It is Earl Thomas, who was with the Legion of Boom, played in 2 Super Bowls with Seattle.
He got the numbers.
He was
right?
a fantastic safety. Adam Vinatieri, some people say the greatest field goal kicker of all time. Hines Ward, Super Bowl winner and Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 40, that is. Ricky Waters won Super Bowls with the 49ers.
Ricky was cold, too.
Ricky was a very good. Richmond Webb, outstanding offensive tackle.
From Roosevelt High School.
And played for the Dolphins. Vince Wilfork, another Super Bowl champion with the Patriots.
Man, they are packed in this thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Oh my goodness.
Steve Wisniewski, outstanding offensive lineman with the Raiders. Darren Woodson, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys, and Marshall Yanda, a former Super Bowl champion with the Ravens. I mean,
let's see. Tony Baselli is already in, right?
Tony's already in.
That's Fred's tackle.
Reggie Wayne, another great player. Just dude is hard. I mean,
Reggie Wayne, man.
You've
Torrey
got
Holt too. That's
greatest show on turf. Torrey Holt was in there. Isaac's in there, right? Man, there's a lot of names on there where I'm like, I'm kind of torn.
And you only can take 5.
I'm kind of torn, man, because I don't know. Because what's the name ain't in there yet, right? Sterling Sharp.
Sterling is not in. Shannon is in. Sterling's not. By the way, we were talking about Suggs. 2-time Super Bowl champion, defensive player.
Suggs. Yeah, he got to go.
And defensive rookie of the year.
He got to go in there. T. Suggs was unreal.
Sizzle's a fantastic player, man. It's Earl Thomas is going to be a fascinating discussion.
That's going to be a tough one.
Fascinating discussion because when you're talking about the safeties between Rodney Harrison, Woody, and Earl Thomas, Earl's got the least of the Super Bowl wins.
Most controversy off the field.
But you talk about Pro Bowl, just the Pro Bowls. I mean, this guy all pros.
Yeah, the presence that he was on the field. You got to take a lot of that off the field stuff and just put in between the white lines. He was that.
He was nice.
Matchup nightmare.
He was
a great tackler. Even though he was considered undersized.
He was little, but
he was a thumper.
He was real, man. And he was a part of one of those defenses that had that
nickname.
Stigma, that nickname. Well, I know Woodson was in part of those 3 Super Bowls, but were any of those defenses like, man?
The first defense they had in Super Bowl 27, that was the number 1 defense in the league.
So so he was a part of a cold defense. So that safety room. It's gonna be tough. Rodney was cold was it San Diego?
Yeah.
When he was doing, then he went to the Patriots and got he was cold, man.
And so that's so that then you got I want to say Earl Thomas is all decade.
I think he was.
Woody was not all first team all decade. I think Butler got that ahead of him. So I mean, these are you're going to have to start to dive into the all decades, all pros, and that's where I look at just when you start to go that next level. Eli Manning, there's no way he makes it.
Yeah.
500 record, no all pros, no MVPs. You had 2 great playoff runs. They were good, but 2 great playoff runs that put Jim Plunkett in with the Raiders.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yes, Eli Super Bowl MVP. It's going to be a fascinating conversation.
What I'm torn about is Kuechly though. Are y'all just for sure first ballot? Boom, he's in there.
No.
I know he was nice.
Not with this list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know he was unreal, and if he wouldn't have got the concussion problems, he probably still be playing out here putting up unreal numbers.
Stop.
But do you think he's a first ballot?
Stop.
First
Luke
ballot?
Kuechly was that boy.
He was cold.
He was cold.
He was. Don't get me wrong. He was cold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about this as a tackler, sideline to side, his football IQ.
He was all around.
He was he's a madman. He was somebody you had to. He was just so disruptive. You come out, you couldn't even get your running game going with Luke Kuechly on the field, bro.
Maybe I'll make it better for you this way. Luke Kuechly was what Sean Lee.
He's more athletic, a little healthier. Sean
Lee is a B. Luke Kuechly is an A. When you talk about what that kind of player, and we saw what Sean Lee meant here.
Yeah.
But Sean Lee wasn't in there, but it was a problem.
It was hard. It was hard.
So think of it, he's a B player. Luke Kuechly is an A player.
Yeah.
And played in the Super Bowl. I mean, good. I mean, dude, you talk about
defensive player of the year.
Yeah, but Luke was a fantastic player. I mean, but the conversation. First time
That's what
with
the
this
combo.
many guys here, I think it's going to be hard. Knowing, and we talked about it before, where are guys out here on the list? How long do they have to wait? It may be a tough call for Luke Kuechly to get in there, based on
because he reminds me of
the process.
career wise. Who had a real short one, but it's in the hall now? Was it Patrick Willis?
Yeah.
Who had a
Shorter career.
He's in the hall.
Terrell Davis.
Terrell
had a
Davis,
short career. I was there when TD went in, and I had many conversations with him about that as well. It's a challenge, man. It's a challenge. So Luke Kuechly, Defensive Player of the Year in 2012. Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2012. Think about that.
Yeah, back to
Rookie.
back.
Next year I'm gonna go win the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
That's cool.
But you want some guys to be around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's I just think it's going to be a challenge for him to get in. But at some point in time, pretty much, man, if you win Defensive Player, you're going to get a gold jacket.
Yeah, you got to.
It becomes the win. And with this list of guys, there's certain people, and I know who vote in the room, like, hey, man, if this guy had to wait, this would need to wait. So like I said, man.
Is this Woody's last real like?
No, he'll get another shot. But
He'll get another shot, but
Because when does Tom come up? When is Tom? He's
still got I think 3 years. Right?
Still got 3?
Yeah, I think he got 2 or 3 years left.
And understand, by the way, Willis was not a first ballot Hall of Famer. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Willis, right?
Yeah, Patrick
Yeah,
Willis.
yeah.
Yes.
The Gronkowskis is about to start coming around.
So it starts to become. We saw this when Michael Irvin was going. It becomes a line, and then it becomes how do you break the line? For a while, it was a line of receivers. So it was like Chris Carter and Andre Reed and Tim Brown and Michael Irvin. And Brown was like the last dude to get in. He was hot.
It was cold.
Because he was like, man, I'm a return guy too. So you start looking at the safety room right now. Okay, so if you're looking at 3 safeties, most likely you will only take one.
between
and you're lucky because there's no corners. There's no real corners here. So who's the one? Is it Earl Thomas? Is it Woody? Is it Rodney Harrison?
Then you got Sherman about to start. Sherman gonna start coming around.
But corner, but right now we're just looking at safety.
Just looking at safeties.
Right here to say, you got 3 safeties that you say, hey man, all these guys are. If you're only choosing one,
I mean, you gotta
Woody. Woody, come on, stop playing.
He got more Super Bowls. Yeah. Do they take the numbers into account a lot?
And I would say, then this is the thing, and I've got to go look at. Okay, so Hek'ma, we can look at Super Bowls. Now let's go look at All Decade. Let's go look at number of All Pros and Pro Bowls. Those other things that come in there, and then just ultimately too it comes down to who is. If Hek'ma is making the case for Barry Church, how convincing and how good is Hek'ma's case? Because we're at the end, so Hek'ma's going to present, and then we're all going to sit around here. We're going to discuss it. We're going to shoot as many holes in there as we can. But he's got to do this job to show us what. Hey, this is what you may not know what Woody did. That's that. It becomes convincing.
Yeah,
you are trying to convince someone of why.
So you mean there's someone on the counter poking holes in why he shouldn't make it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh, I already know somebody right now who's ready to go to war over Eli Manning.
I'm
ready to go to war. They're like,
who's the person that's poking holes in it?
Yeah, no, they ready to go to war against Eli Manning. I'll say this, and I don't know who is doing the presentation for Darren Woodson, but the guy you always wanted to go in there for you was Rick Gosselin when he was with the Morning News. Rick Gosselin had a hell of a rate of getting people in the hall. He knew how to make some great arguments. It's pretty good stuff. All right, we got to get our final break in here. Right here on the Players Lounge. This is DallasCowboys.com.
First guy to play nickel.
Hey, Danny McCray here for Smoothie King. You know every great workout deserves a great reward. So treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls. Made with real fruit, crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, creamy coconut, and topped with the chocolate hazelnut or honey drizzle. With 2 new flavors, it's perfect for you and the workout buddy. So you both can stay on track even after you leave the track. Scoop up new coconut smoothie bowls only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2024 NFL season, Boss teamed up with the Cowboys and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection. The Boss Cowboys collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Arriving just in time for the start of the season, the distinctive attire from the latest Boss Cowboys expansion offers sports aficionados and true bosses the chance to show their team spirit and style. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, HugoBoss.com, and Boss retail stores. # be your own boss.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1. Any broadcast without the express addition of cooked-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12. No crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane's sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31. Anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Celebrate the holiday season at AT&T Stadium. Get your tour of the home of the Dallas Cowboys, plus your photo with Santa and Mrs. Claus. From December 10th through the 14th, limited inventory is available. Secure your tickets today at AT&TStadium.com/tours.
All right. Brandon Cooks could play this weekend. Brandon Cooks is available. CeeDee Lamb is out there. Jake Ferguson, don't expect him to play. A Schoonmaker out there. How are we feeling about the pass game?
It's gonna be tough, man. I mean, because you're looking at the offensive line at that point and who's available on the offensive line. If you're talking about Zach Martin may be out and Tyler Smith, who's, your best offensive line, maybe best offensive player, it's going to be tough, especially going against a guy like DQ. And we know what he loves to do. He loves to run those games. He loves to confuse the offensive lineman out there, and he has the pieces to do so. I know the one Bama boy, he ain't going to be playing, but you still got Fowler on the outside. You still got Dorrance Armstrong on the outside. You still got, Sweat, not Sweat. No, he gone, right? You got some cats over there either way. So, they just better draw some stuff to get the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands pretty fast. But if I'm Cooks, I'm getting back out there. I got to put that tape out.
Yeah.
I got to put that tape out there. I'm trying to get another deal.
You look at those games, those Pittsburgh games, and what Pittsburgh did is they didn't change their DNA at all. They put that line of scrimmage together, and they ran at this defense. They knew exactly how to get the win. That's the one thing that you say about this Cowboys team. If they pull out the win, it's going to be the ultimate team victory because it's going to take everybody to get this done. The running game has been non-existent through 10 weeks. And the only way that you could beat this team literally is to run the ball. If you throw the ball 55 times in this game versus Washington, it's going to be a disaster.
Somebody getting hurt.
Somebody's going to – I'm not saying it's going to be a disaster because that's the way that the Commanders' defense is put together. They don't – obviously, they want you to think that the back end is a weakness so they can send those guys after you with those gains and stunts like you just talked about. Man, when we get an opportunity to talk about this offense, I'm Jaden Daniels, and that's the biggest. In my opinion, Washington has been bad long enough to finally get a program changer, and he may be the one guy that, and I may have underestimated him too, coming out of LSU, but he looks like the guy that's going to be a problem for a number of years. We've talked about Jalen Hurts, but Jaden Daniels is something completely different. Obviously, like any other quarterback, they don't like to be touched and sacked, and those start some of the errors that he has. He had the rib injury kind of earlier in the season, but I look at him as Lamar Jackson with touch.
Yeah. I agree with that one.
Everything you said is right, but we've seen this before in Washington.
Who are you talking about with
RG3? He's different than him, though.
And but this is my thing. I got to do this hit with the guys in Washington tomorrow. Show me you can do it again, because if there's one thing we know in this league, these coordinators, man, they're gonna get after it. They're gonna figure you out. And I think the young man's a fantastic pick, and I think he's what you're saying. He can be a player for a number of years, but man, over time, that to me is is the test. Can you do this thing again? We thought C.J. Stroud. Now, I didn't play fantasy football this year, but I thought C.J. Stroud was going to go next level. It's hard, which goes to show you, to me, why Lamar Jackson is not respected more than he is. To go win two MVPs and do what he's doing year after, it's hard, man.
Yeah, it is.
It is hard. Kyler Murray, heck, you saw Kyler Murray play in high school a whole lot here, man. Unbelievable career. I thought Kyler Murray was going to really be a guy. And it's been a challenge. Yeah. Because they start to figure you out in this league. It's tough. But Cliff Kingsbury's done an outstanding job with him. But, that's what I'm going to see, man. Because that's what the RG3 thing taught me. Show me you keep doing it.
Yeah, different offense, and I think Cliff Kingsbury, people are going to start talking about him at the end of the year. We talk about resurgence. Yeah,
it's funny. Hek'ma had the conversation over here with a good buddy of mine. I said no. Because he's a Bears fan. Like, man, we go to Kingsbury. I said, it's coordinator. And I like Cliff personally. I do. Cliff and I get along great. Norv Turner was a coordinator.
Yeah.
Nobody. You talk about one of the great offensive coordinators and guys in this league's history. Norv Turner. I mean, look at the running backs. Everybody got hold of Norv, man. I mean, Norv was fantastic. Troy had Norv present him at the Hall of Fame. That's how much he changed his career.
All Cliff needs is, if they have the ultimate success in Washington, far run into the playoffs, backs it up, because you're talking about C.J. Stroud in the sophomore slump. Jaden Daniels comes back, and he's even better in his second stint. I'm telling you, I mean, you're not going to be, because that's what the thing that the NFL is missing on those brain trusts, those guys that can draw it up, dial it up. And you see when guys hire these defensive-minded coaches and they're having to bring it, how much trouble you have. Come on, look no further than New York. Yeah. You're not having any success hiring these defensive guys. You need a guy like the one you got in Detroit right now, who's the offensive coordinator that's on everybody's short list to be a head coach. The NFL will have a very selective memory when it comes down to a guy that can play call.
And I would present Josh McDaniels. Some of these guys are play callers, but they're not the leaders of men. And that's where you can get into trouble. Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, he was coaching at Texas Tech. I mean, it never had a defense. They could put up offensive numbers and went to Arizona. It's kind of the same thing. I do think there's a difference in those guys who just call, like Norv. He calls some great plays, but running the whole thing, Sean McVay is a little bit different. Sean McVay actually, and he obviously had Wade helping him out at first, but Sean McVay showing you to be a leader of men and run a team. The dude with the Chargers, not Chargers, but the dude with Cincinnati,
Zach Taylor, yeah,
call plays. Head coach. He'll be going anyway.
So brother wouldn't
Mark
be
Trestman.
He wouldn't be. What?
Soul brother about to be back in
Soul brother ain't going out like that.
Soul brother, man.
Man.
Soul brother gonna be all right.
Soul brother ain't gonna cut. Soul brother ain't cutting it, man. Soul brother ain't cutting it.
Soul coming back, man.
Somebody gonna realize, he black. Oh, it's time to go.
Hold on, you ain't gonna be here tomorrow, right?
Commanders. Joe Witt Jr., Commanders 37.
Oh,
37.
Oh, almost 40, bro.
Right down there, yeah. Commandos.
Not the man.
Commandos. 37.
Let's give him the count.
Dallas. 13.
Damn.
Remember forever.
37.
The night they played Joe Witt Jr.
Ooh.
Joe Witt coming for his pinch.
So do we have to go on the DMN to get your picks? Or you gonna send them over, homie?
Just throw a little in the chat. In the chat.
Just throw a little. We are not going looking for your picks.
Just throw me a little chat.
I mean, why not? Give a brother a click. Give a brother a click.
I got you, man. I got you.
Hek'ma Harrison, Barry Church, I'm Newy Scruggs, Players Lounge. They'll be here tomorrow. I won't. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?